Hey guys, what's going on? This is Atavi here, and today I'm going to present you my list of top 5 programming languages that you need to learn in 2021. So, I spent a lot of time researching on this, and I made a presentation on this so that you could understand it better. So, let's jump right into it. So, let's talk about the top 5 programming languages in 2021. So, in number 5, I'll give C Sharp. So, let's talk about C Sharp. This is a language used for game development and it can also be used for native desktop development, but people mostly use it because it's good for game development. When combined with like engines like Unity, C Sharp works very well. So it's good for game development and stuff. So if we look at the average salary of C Sharp developer, I researched online and many websites showed some different results and I came out to choose $67,989, which was shown on most of the websites. So also note that this is not just for game developers. People might also be using C Sharp for some desktop development and things of that sort. So that also impacts the average salary. So let's go to number 4. Number 4, Kotlin. Right now, Kotlin is used in Android Studio for Android development, but this language is going to go far. It's also going to be used in embedded system and even iOS and macOS native development. So a lot of things coming in for Kotlin right now. The reason I kept this at number 4 is because I think the language is going to grow a lot, but I cannot take it much higher than 4 because as of now we don't know much about what's going on with this thing. So I think it's better to keep it on number 4. So if we look at the average salary of Kotlin developer, it's around 54,000 US dollars. Well, the actually salary might go high or low. The reason is I think this is low because of other than other languages because it's mostly used in Android development right now, and the other things are still in development. And I think this average salary might go high when other things come up which use Kotlin. So for now, I just think that Kotlin should be on number 4 on this list. So if we go to number 3, Dart. So Dart is a programming language developed by Google itself. This is a client optimized programming language which can be used to make mobile, desktop, web and server apps. But the most useful case I find of Dart is in Flutter. Now Flutter is a cross platform development which compiles into native Android and iOS code just as React Native does, which is a JavaScript thing. Dart along with Flutter is gaining a lot of popularity right now and is proving that we don't need to have separate teams for Android and iOS development anymore. So that's because a lot of companies had separate teams for iOS development and Android development before, and they had to coordinate with each other about design and stuff. So that was a huge disaster because the code used to be different. But now this is going to be super simple with Dart because you just need to write the code once and you need to just have one team, and you're also saving money while you are hiring a Dart developer instead of hiring two teams for separate iOS and Android development. So if we look at the average salary of a Dart developer, it is around like 87,820 US dollars, which tells that people are using Dart a lot nowadays to make the Android and iOS applications, and developers are getting a decent pay on that. And trust me when I say Dart is also going to be used on a lot of things now. It's just Flutter which is using a lot of times, but I'm sure I'm missing something. But for now, the major use case of Dart is in Flutter, and Flutter is a very powerful thing, and it's backed by Google. Dart is backed by Google, so it's going to be maintained, and it's going to stay for a while. So let's go to number 2. So here we go, JavaScript. This is my primary programming language, but I put this at number 2. I'll explain why in a second after we reveal the number 1 language. So basically, JavaScript is mainly used for web development to give some life to web pages, adding some logic to them. The growth of JavaScript has been insane. Like it's been insane lately, and now there are tons of libraries to help with making powerful and awesome web apps like React, Vue, Angular, and many other stuff. Like there are new libraries coming up every day with JavaScript. Now JavaScript can also be used for cross-platform development. Like you can use React. There's a thing like React Native, which I talked about earlier. So React Native also compiles your code to Android and iOS. So you can also write just one code and it will just make an iOS app and an Android app for you. And that's very useful. And Angular is trying to do that same thing, but Angular's thing is not that powerful. It's called Ionic framework, I guess. It's not a complete native development, it's like hybrid development, but you get the point that using JavaScript you can do a ton of stuff. You can also make a desktop application by using that Electron frameworks. It's super easy to do all of that stuff with JavaScript rather than going just native. But there are separate advantages and disadvantages of this thing. If you use native languages, you have more control. But that's not what we are looking at right now. We are looking at the ease of use of things. So I think JavaScript should be at number two. So the average salary of JavaScript developer is 84,638 US dollars. Again, there are a lot of use cases of JavaScript and people hire JavaScript developers for a ton of different reasons, but mainly for web development because JavaScript was firstly just made for web development and then it came to some native development like desktop applications and mobile applications. But yeah, JavaScript is a very powerful language, and that's my primary language. Whenever I have to make something, I would use JavaScript. I would try to use JavaScript first because that's what I know the best. So, the time has come. Number one, pause the video right here, go to the comment section, and comment down what your prediction of what the number one language would be. So, the number one is Python. Well, I feel bad. I kept JavaScript at number two, but why I feel Python should be on number one is because you can do a ton of stuff in Python like machine learning, and you could even do web development. You can develop the backend using some Python framework like Flask and Django. You could also do automation stuff with Selenium, which I personally play along with a lot, when I'm bored. Like I can just make random things, like I can just automate stuff, like I can make random accounts on web with Selenium. It's super easy and it's that good that you can bypass captchas using that, but that's what you should not do. But but you get the thing. It's a powerful tool to do that, and it's built with Python and Java, but it's used in Python a lot. And the reason I would say that this should be on number one is mainly because it's beginner friendly. It's super easy to learn Python. Like if I just ask a complete beginner of programming to just go with Python, he will find it too easy to learn Python because there's not a lot of things you need to know. Of course, there are a lot of things you need to know, but for beginners, I think this is easy because you don't need to have some unnecessary keywords like variables can be declared right away. You don't need to write integer, constant, or something like that in other languages. So I think this is a pretty easy languages and good to start for beginners. So I just kept it on number one. And so if you are a beginner in programming, I would highly suggest go for Python or JavaScript. So yeah. So the average salary of a Python developer is $112,985, which is highest we have seen in the list. So again, there are a lot of things in Python which have a lot of value, like machine learning. I have no idea about machine learning, by the way, but I know that people just get paid a lot because of machine learning and all of that stuff. Even automation, you get paid a lot. So even for Django, for backend development, it is highly used for backend developer. So you can just get paid a lot using these things. So that was it, guys. That was my list of top 5 programming languages that you should learn in 2021. So if you like this video, just drop a like, and if you want to support my channel, just click on subscribe button. I would really appreciate that, and I'm going to bring a lot of content towards you, and that's my promise. So anyway, guys, I'll just meet you in the next video. Peace.